Hello, everyone. This is Megan Norris from REL Midwest, and we are going to start promptly. There are going to be some more people that join us, but we want to make sure that we are sticking to our time frame here for today's webinar. We are going to talk today about equipping parents to support kindergarten readiness, and we are so thrilled to have you all with us today. We also have an excellent panel of presenters for you today. They'll be talking in succession and then have a question and answer session at the end. Our first presenter is going to be Dr. Kimberly Mann, and Kimberly Mann currently serves as the product director for the Illinois Birth of Three Title IV waiver and the Safe Babies Court team, among other things. Her practice, program development, and research interests include clinical practice with children and their families and the impact of trauma in the lives of youth. And then following Dr. Mann is going to be Dr. Spring Dawson-McClure from New York University. She is an assistant professor of population health in the Center for Early Childhood Health and Development at NYU School of Medicine. Her research focuses on the development, evaluation, and dissemination of preventative interventions for children living in poverty. And her clinical expertise is in the prevention and treatment of behavior problems, parenting, divorce and remarriage, and early childhood development, including sleeping and eating habits. And then we're going to wrap up the presentations with Valerie Young. Valerie Young is a parent ambassador with the Illinois Head Start Association. And to brag on her for a minute, Valerie was chosen in 2015 as the Region 5 Parent of the Year and the Illinois Head Start Parent of the Year. And then in 2016, she was the National Head Start Association Parent of the Year. So she'll be giving some on-the-ground introductions about parent engagement for early childhood. And then finally, my picture is on there. I'm Megan Norris. I'm one of the partnership facilitators for the Midwest Early Childhood Research Alliance, who hosts this webinar, and we will talk a little bit about what that is and what that means in a moment. So the agenda for today. Each of the presenters that I just introduced you to are going to talk about a different topic. Kimberly Mann will be talking about trauma-informed care and social-emotional development. And then Dr. Dawson-McClure will be talking about research on parenting and kindergarten readiness. And then we'll flip to Valerie Young, who will talk about parent engagement strategies to support kindergarten readiness. And then you all will get to engage with them in a question and answer session at the end. So make sure that you stick around and put your questions in the chat box. So Cora earlier invited everybody to click on the chat icon that's at the bottom of the screen, and that's where you can enter questions that we'll be compiling throughout the webinar, and we'll pose to the panelists, either an individual or to the entire panel at the end. So the Regional Education Laboratory, or REL Midwest, that I've been referring to, is a network of 10 different regional education laboratories funded by the U.S. Department of Education's Institute of Education Sciences. The REL works in collaboration with different education entities, including school districts, state education agencies, and other organizations in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, and Wisconsin. The type of work that the REL does is, we like to refer to it as a couple of different buckets. The first bucket is applied research. So that's sort of the bigger research projects, technical assistance, and then engagement activities such as this. So this is one of the activities that the Early Childhood Alliance is putting on, and the real aim and goal of this is to make sure that we're bridging the research that's being done and the research landscape on early childhood education, and we're marrying it with practice. So you can have examples from folks in the field, which all of our presenters are, that are going to give real-life application to what's being studied. And then why we do this work is to make sure to try to help to solve practical problems and advance fundamental understanding of education challenges and processes, right? So we never have a shortage of questions, and so the REL is really trying to make sure that the research is actually being used and give an example of how it can be applied in the day-to-day lives in the field. How the REL does this work is in consultation with state education agencies. So we like to really say that the partnerships are driving the work. The connection that the researchers on the REL Midwest team have with practitioners is really the vehicle for everything that gets done. And Those partnerships are sort of structured in 5 different ones right now in this sort of wave of what the Regional Education Laboratory looks like. I've mentioned a couple of times the Early Childhood Research Alliance, which is what this webinar is hosted by and focused on. And it's the official full name is the Midwest Early Childhood Education Research Alliance, and we affectionately refer to it as MISERA. There are 4 other partnerships, one of which is a network improvement community, and then there's 3 other alliances, and we sort of create emergent partnerships as we go, as well as need arises.